Who is the mystery man in photograph 343?
Yeah, so we did a podcast on this last week. We talked about Ray Epps, and I was really I didn't believe it. I wasn't a believer, and we watched two different videos on it, and he somewhat start coming around that this could be true. That there could have been this guy planted by the FBI, and you kind of said there was precedence for this. You
Yeah,
gave an example. I forget what it was called.
COINTELPRO,
Yeah.
where they infiltrated organizations for political reasons and tried to make them look bad. And Ray Epps, the day before the Capitol riot, he's like, "We're going in the Capitol."
Yeah, no one else was saying
No
that.
any idea, but let's see what's going on with photograph 343.
Yes. So could there be another Ray Epps out there?
Point. It seems, Congresswoman, that Ray Epps isn't the only January 6th suspect to kind of mysteriously disappear from the FBI's most wanted list. The
There's
Washington
Mr. 343 right there.
is reporting tonight that an unidentified man wore an earpiece during the riot, and he was filmed carrying what appeared to be a concealed handgun on his left hip. He was pictured on the FBI's most wanted list for over 5 months until he was removed without explanation on the same day the New York Times reported that an FBI informant was indeed at the Capitol on January 6th.
Just like Ray Epps, right? Just he's on the most wanted list and then just disappears.
So he had to go. Do we have any video like of him with the gun and the earpiece yet?
See, and that's the thing about Ray Epps is that we had actual video of him taking a Trump sign and just beating it against
With
a whole
other
bunch of
people,
officers.
Yeah.
We don't have this guy, but
Which is clearly one of the absurd things that happened on January 6th. Like, you don't do that in our nation's capital.
right.
But there's a lot of curiosity surrounding the event. So,
And they wouldn't put him on the most wanted list if they didn't at one time think he had done something wrong,
and
right?
then take him off. Like, anyways, yeah, it'll be curious of what this suspect 343 guy is.
Congresswoman, that's
You know,
an interesting coincidence.
Absolutely. And I greatly appreciate your willingness to talk about these things. There's so many people in the media that are just following the January 6th committee narrative. I think there's a lot more that happened that day on January 6th, and it is appalling. Anyone that committed a crime, they deserve their day in court, and they've been charged, and they should be charged. But what you're talking about, like Ray Epps, why did I not see him in the D.C. jail when I went in and went on that tour that day? But I saw many people being held in there that have been held months on end, haven't seen their families, pretrial defendants held in solitary confinement, completely denied rights like haircuts and shaving, chapel, and medical services when they have health issues that greatly need treatment. There's a lot of questions that need to be answered, and the January 6th committee is unwilling to ask the right questions. The FBI put people on their wanted list, like Ray Epps, I think he was in the top 20, and then took him off. John Sullivan, who recorded Ashley Babbitt's death, and then sold his videos to media companies. You know, he has been charged. But he had a knife on him inside the Capitol, but yet at the same time, he's not being held in jail. There are so many issues here, like the man that was on the scaffolding ordering people to go into the Capitol. Where is that man? Who is he? And why hasn't he been charged? And then there are reports of people wearing earpieces, but not just one. I've seen reports of many people wearing earpieces. Who are they? And why were they wearing earpieces? And what was going on? Why wasn't the National Guard there? That's what I really want to know. I was a brand new member of Congress, and the National Guard wasn't even called in, and Nancy Pelosi didn't give permission for them to be there that day.
Well, there's certainly a lot of video that's not been released and a lot of information that's not released, but maybe they're waiting to, August of this year, right before the midterm elections. That's their entire.
Yeah,
she makes a good point.
This is people's platforms, yeah, and they're going to release it all to take as much political advantage as they can of it. The point about why wasn't the National Guard there? That's something Bob brought up on the Ray Epps video. He gave the example of what if you're sitting around in your neighborhood at a neighborhood barbecue, and somebody says, "Hey, I'm going to break into your house tomorrow." Would you just sit there and what would you do about it?
Right,
Like,
you
you're
call
gonna
in more
do-
support.
You're going to do something, and I mean, this is the federal government. You know, they're one of their most sacred buildings, but there's a lot of strange stuff with the January 6th incident, and you know, I'm a firm believer that we'll never see the light of day of many details of it, and yeah, to me it's all blah 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 blah. You know, propaganda on both sides.
Right. I mean, I could believe that there are FBI agents out there in the field for protection at some point to take in information and report it and investigate, but to actually commit a crime, on the Capitol, hired by, our government for some political reason, I mean,
Well, they keep calling them informants. You know, informants are not necessarily agents, but they're somebody that get protected. You know, a lot of the security agencies, intelligence agencies are contractors. You know, working for the government. The government people are just pencil pushers, and they hire contractors that do the dirty work. They call them informants, protected, working for the FBI. We don't know that, but it's just like some curiosities. We do know that the government, if you go read about COINTELPRO, it's on Wikipedia, the government has done things like this before.
Right.
That's factual. That's a historical fact.
And the left just wants to throw this out and call it, craziness on conservative people on the right making up theories. But there's obviously a lot of proof out there that's presenting itself.
Well,
so
clearly there's a lot of conservatives that completely acted out at this event, but it comes down to like were they brainwashed, stirred up into hysteria?
Yeah.
It's follow the crowd, the riot mentality. But anyways,
well, go check out our other video. It's in the podcast playlist on Ray Epps, and you can learn even more about these FBI informants. So
yeah,
this has been fun.
Potential FBI informants.
That's true.
But,
it's a theory, but
yeah. Well, and it'll never see the light of day. But it's very
the January 6th committee will never uncover it.
Right. It's very.
You wonder why they're not looking to this. So.
But come drop your theories on the freespeechforum.com, because we know that you'll get banned from other platforms for talking about or suggesting this.
Right. Won't be banned there. So we'll see you next time.